Good morning and happy Monday to you. My name is LaShonda Brown and welcome to Bootstrap Biz Advice Live, where I teach service providers how to work less and live more by leveraging tech and YouTube. I have so many friends that are podcast hosts that are posting their videos to YouTube wrong. And so as I started thinking about our workshop for this month and how Alan is going to come in and talk about podcast monetization strategies are great, but only if your content is actually doing what it needs to do. So I am really excited about this topic. I'm definitely going to handle it with kid gloves. I'm not trying to critique you for the purpose of just critiquing. I genuinely want to help. And so I'm creating this content. So at scale, perhaps I may slide the replay into my friends' DMs and say, guys, this is why it's not working. And here's what you could be doing differently, just like the video and help it reach more people. So that's kind of where the topic came from. And I would encourage you as you create content, especially on YouTube Live, choose real topics about real problems and you're going to get views. You don't have to go to ChatGPT and say, what's a trending topic? You are aware of things that people are running into. And if you can actually help fix the problem, choose that as a topic. It doesn't need a fancy title. You don't need to agonize over it. If you can help, just help. And it will make a difference. So that being said, if you are watching this live, I would encourage you to like this if you genuinely like it, because it tells the YouTube algorithm that this is content that should be promoted and should be pushed out to more people. It truly is helping the channel. We started the year at 40,000 subscribers. We are already at over 72,000. So I think at this rate, we will hit 100K this year and I'll get that plaque, baby. I am so excited. I think it's going to happen. So for Christmas, I would love to get that plaque. If I can get it sooner, that would be amazing. But a very simple way that you can help me to do that is by liking this. Another thing that I want to let you know is I create these, I call them lower thirds in Streamyard. And I use this to help break up the content to remind myself of the points I want to cover, but also so my virtual assistant can go back and add time codes in the description of the YouTube video. When you put those time codes in the description, it creates chapters in the replay. So if you want to skip to a specific tip, you can just click on that time code and it will actually progress in the replay recording. So we typically have those done by Monday afternoon. So feel free, if you're watching this live, to come back and look for those time codes and just skip to what you want if you're wanting to actually implement some of the tips that I share with you. So that being said, I'm really going to just hop right into the content. I do want to let you all know that I am choosing, let me find this logo. There we go. I'm choosing to say that this episode is sponsored by the Bootstrap Star students. One of the things I really suck at on this channel is remembering that my own business needs to be promoted just as much as my sponsors. So if I don't have a tech partner as a sponsor, I am going to pick a relevant income stream from my offer suite to promote. And so this week we have our Star Student Workshop. So it makes sense for the Star students to sponsor this episode. So if you are leveraging YouTube Live in your business and you are not sponsoring your own content, just like people do with their podcasts, create ads for your offers. You are serving, your target market is there. That is the perfect opportunity for you to turn your free content into sponsored content that can promote what you sell. So that being said, I want to tell you a little bit more about our workshop tomorrow night, and then we'll hop into the content.
Many people think podcast monetization only involves one thing: reading ads and getting sponsors. But there are so many more ways that podcasts can generate revenue that are easy for podcasters at any level to take advantage of. In this month's session, Alan and I will unpack the methods, the tools, and the strategies that beginner to advanced podcasters can use to monetize their shows and create positive cash flow, even if you don't have a huge audience or a huge listener base. So in this month's workshop, you are going to learn how to choose which podcast monetization strategy will work best for your unique situation. You'll learn how to structure your podcast to attract the right sponsors and the right listeners. And finally, you're going to learn how to build your podcast into a brand that creates additional revenue streams. To make sure you have a seat in class and get access to the replay, just hit the join button below this video to become a star student for $9.99 a month. You'll also gain instant access to my library of 20 plus workshops with subject matter experts that I have the pleasure of calling dear friends. Alan C. Paul is a musician, author, podcaster, and coach who helps faith-based creatives find complete confidence in their calling while excelling in their craft. He is the author of 2 books, God and Gigs, Succeed as a Musician Without Sacrificing Your Faith, and his devotional, Your Art, God's Heart. He has interviewed dozens of Grammy and award-winning artists on his podcast, The God and Gigs Show, which has helped creatives to grow in their spiritual lives and creative gifts since 2015. In addition, he is a regular contributor of Bible study content and devotionals on the YouVersion Bible app, and he helps to produce several other faith-based podcasts. Alan has been married to his beautiful wife, Leah, for over 25 years, and he has 3 children and continues to perform and compose as an accomplished musician in South Florida. I look forward to seeing you on February 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern live on the Bootstrap Biz Advice channel. Making money with your podcast is possible, and Alan has the experience to show you how. Until next time, ta-ta for now.
So first and foremost, Alan is a Bootstrap creator, and I can't speak for every membership, but I will say I think it's important that your memberships that you are a part of give you opportunities for you to be elevated on their platforms. I think one of the things that makes my membership so special is I am genuinely invested in your growth. And I'll be honest with you, Alan is an accomplished podcast host and producer and does not do himself justice when it comes to talking about what he does. So I made sure as part of that ad to not only give you the information about what we're going to cover in the workshop, but really show even more of his credibility in that space, because those are things you maybe didn't know about him. And so I think that is a really fun thing about our community, that I'm always looking for ways to share their content, to engage with what they're doing. And this is just a simple opportunity for him to share his giftings with us. So you don't have to be a Bootstrap creator to be a part of this, but you do need to be at least a Bootstrap Star student, which is my middle tier. The middle membership tier is $9.99 a month. You just hit join. If you're watching this live, there should be a $sign next to the chat, and you can easily click that and join directly in YouTube, which is why I have transitioned my content marketing membership to this platform. I'm constantly showing up here. And as soon as I activated my YouTube membership on this channel, every single piece of content that I had now becomes an ad for the membership. You see a subscribe button, and you also see a join button. So if you are running into situations where it's hard for you to market your membership and most of what you provide is video driven, I would encourage you to check out YouTube memberships. So that is just a little side note, a little behind the scenes. But again, just become a star student by tomorrow to gain access to it. If you miss the event tomorrow, anytime that you join, you'll get access to the replay. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into the content. We did add a new member after our Work With Me session. So again, welcome Ayana to the membership. So glad that you are here. She started as a star student in the app, and now she is a Bootstrap creator. And I'm really looking forward to coaching her, helping her to grow with content marketing, and allowing her to be a part of what's happening within that membership tier. All right, so the first thing that you guys are doing wrong, and again, I'm going to be kind about this, but I am going to be blunt because I don't like seeing people waste their time. So the first mistake I think you're making is that you jump too quickly into booking guests instead of finding your YouTube voice as a podcast host. What I mean by that is if you are trying to leverage guest contributors to your podcast, have them come in and you interview them. The vast majority of interviews, if the host is good at what they do, the guest contributes most of the thought leadership, right? So, say for instance, if I were to interview Olivia Dean right now, if I were to bring her on the Bootstrap channel and I wanted to hear about her and her first Grammy win, more than likely I would pose questions to her and she would answer. And so you would walk away from that content knowing more about Olivia than you do about me. But the reason why you subscribe to a YouTube channel is the host, not the guest, because the guests will continue to change, but the host is a constant. So, for those of you who are starting from scratch and you immediately jump into this mindset of, oh, I want to game the system. I want to leverage and borrow audiences from other people that are more accomplished. Let me see if I can get people with a big following to come on my podcast. And if I have big names on the podcast and they'll market it and their community will come and da 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 da. All you're doing is growing someone else's business, not yours. So what's happening, and you can see this happening especially in the entertainment industry in Hollywood, whether they're promoting a movie or a Netflix special or an album, they go on press tours, right? And you'll see these artists. Right now, Marcelo Hernandez is really popular because he just released a new Netflix special and it's his first one. And so he's hopping on all these different podcasts to reach their communities with the news of his content on Netflix. But that is not, by and large, helping the hosts to grow their channel. Because Marcelo is hopping to all these podcasts. So his people are hearing, him answer the same question, talk about similar things. And so he's benefiting from being in the guest seat. But when it comes to utilizing YouTube as a podcast host, you have to think about, am I building a meaningful relationship with my community so they subscribe to hear from me? Would they subscribe to this channel if all I did was solo episodes? Because the reality is booking guests is a very admin heavy task to do. And so if you are starting a podcast from day one, you need your podcast to be able to stand on your thought leadership, not immediately say, oh, I need to rely on other people to add value to this content, because other people are never going to care about your business as much as you do. And so I would tell you, stop doing that method. So many people see people doing guest interviews, and so they think that's the way podcasts should work. That's what the big podcasts are doing. But if you are leveraging podcasting as a content marketing strategy, you need to be establishing your POV. What do you have to say about whatever your niche is, whether it's biz operations or it's tech education or it's marketing? What do you think? Establish yourself, anchor yourself in your content so people gravitate to you so your views don't drop when, you change things up. Okay? Now, I had a situation last week where I brought in Antonio Neves to talk to my community. Guess what? My solo live streams always outperform my guest interviews. People think, oh, I'm doing myself a favor by tapping into somebody else. But people are on this channel for me. People want to hear what I think. Now they're open to hearing from people that I want to showcase, conversations that I want to have. But by and large, when I show my face, when I show up and deliver my thoughts on the Biz Advice Show, if you want to call that this, at the end of the day, those always outperform because you're here for me. So think about your content not as someone's coming here to learn tech education. Someone's coming to this channel to learn from LaShonda. And if LaShonda is interested in Canva, cool. If LaShonda is interested in Flowdesk, cool. If LaShonda wants to promote Jotform, cool. But I am here for LaShonda's perspective on blank. And if you rely on guests It creates a chaotic atmosphere on your channel where we don't actually know what you think. Okay. So you have to remember this is your channel, your show, your funnel to get people from free content into your paid offers. And if your podcast on YouTube is saturated with all these random guests promoting all their random offers, you're taking the back seat when you should be in the driver's seat. Okay. So this is your Mama Shonda wake up call that if you think that this is the best thing for you to be doing right now, I genuinely believe you are mistaken. Now, when it comes to audio podcasts, those people will leverage guesting because people are more likely to drive traffic from their audiences and say, oh, listen to this on Spotify, listen to this on Apple, yada, yada, yada. But I'm telling you, I have never seen a guest promote a YouTube podcast like they do audio. I don't know why. I don't know if they're just not used to it or they don't understand how YouTube works, but I rarely ever see someone guesting on a podcast to share a YouTube link in an Instagram story. They're going to share Apple Podcasts, they're going to share Spotify, they're going to share your own website, but very rarely are they even sharing a YouTube link. So if you think a guest is going to grow your YouTube channel, you are mistaken. It doesn't happen. It literally doesn't happen. And so I just want to tell you that maybe one of the reasons why your YouTube recordings are getting fewer views or listens than Apple or Spotify, it's because people aren't sharing it for you. So why even put yourself in a position where you're hedging your bets on what they're going to do to grow you on YouTube when they're not in that frame of mind? They don't have that mindset about YouTube content. They just don't. And so I see it. I see it happen over and over and over again. And people go, man, I had Amy Porterfield on my podcast and I put the recording on YouTube and I thought it was going to blow up and it didn't even get 100 views. How is that possible? Everybody knows who Amy is. It's because people aren't sharing the YouTube links. So if they're not sharing the YouTube links, then what can you do to change? You can go relational and less about leveraging public reputation. Okay. YouTube is a search engine. You have to think about how people utilize this platform, and it's totally different than Spotify or Apple. Just uploading it is not enough. It's not enough because that's not the behavior on this platform. And you have to understand not just the algorithm, but the human behavior on the platform that you choose to leverage. If you don't understand how it works, you can dump as much content as you want on the platform and you're not gonna perform. There are no edits to this content. I'm literally sitting at my real desk in my actual office, just begging you to listen to me that YouTube can grow your business, but it will not grow your business if you don't use it properly. And so this is huge. This is huge. Be brave enough to stand on your own point of view and speak truth. Don't worry about who your guests are because that's a secondary route to grow. Okay. So again, I'm just being honest. I'm just being frank. I want to see you win because this path of content marketing has freed me in a way that no other platform has done. I talk to brands multiple times a week and they pay 2 to 3 times more for a YouTube video sponsorship than Instagram or LinkedIn. Everyone values content on this platform more than the other social platforms, more than a TikTok, more than a reel, more than a sponsor post on LinkedIn. And so if that's the case, why not learn how to play the game? Now, obviously you can be a member and I'll just tell you, this is just a little sneak peek because if my members ask me a question, a real talk question, I just give them a real answer because again, if they win, I win. If they post on Instagram, oh man, before LaShonda, this is what was happening on my YouTube channel. Now that I'm listening to her, boom, I'm getting sponsorships. That does the selling for me. So it is mutually beneficial for me to genuinely show you where you're falling short. And so I'm just, using this live stream as just a sneak peek as to the voice notes, the emails, the shared links, the Canva docs that I give my community, because I'm like, guys, I know YouTube works. That's how you're paying me. So clearly this works. Let's figure out how to make it work for you. Okay. So I love it. Oh my gosh, Darlene, girl, when I tell you, look, let me talk about Darlene for a minute. Darlene has been such an avid supporter of this channel. She's been on my email list since Flowdesk rolled out, maybe not that long, but a long time. And I literally have a post-it note on my desk that was like, stalk Darlene and get her to join, because I'm like, girl, you need to be here. So welcome, Darlene. Welcome, girl. You are in the midst. That makes my heart so happy, because woof, you've been on my post-its. So I'll remove you, and then I will make sure you get the best out of this membership, because you need to be here. I love that. Okay. Theme of the morning, stand on business, aka your YouTube channel. Yes, guys. Here's the thing. You have children sitting on the floors of their bedroom, speaking their truth, making more money than you, posting every day on Instagram. Where is the problem? The problem is you're not using the platform, and they know how to play the game. Okay. That's just the reality. They know how to play the game. Adrian said, love this take. Strategy has now shifted thanks to LaShonda. I love your advice because it's relevant to where we are, not the generic tactics of the masses. Look at what I almost want to cry, but I need to stay focused. Like, you guys watching this live who aren't members, seeing my members give live testimonials as to how the membership is actually helping them. That does more good than 10 emails in your inbox. I don't launch the membership. I serve the members in public. I serve them in public. I show you what I'm doing. I tell you how we're making progress and getting crap done. If you genuinely focus on serving and not just performing, selling just happens. People of their own accord make the decision. I am sick of wasting my freaking time watching all these webinars, downloading all these PDFs. Things aren't moving. Let me just try this. Let me give it a month. Let me just see if I can move the needle. I didn't pay Adrienne to say that. I didn't put her in the audience and say, hey, give me a compliment while I'm live. This is what healthy, vibrant community looks like. And if you are not plugged in, I don't care if it's me, but if you are not plugged in a place where the membership facilitator is genuinely concerned with your growth, move, leave. We don't have time to waste. We don't. And that's why I'm just trying to tell you guys what's actually working, because there's so many lies. There's so many lies being pumped out through ChatGPT. There's so many lies coming out in these webinars with these 16,000 pitches at the end. This is real talk. This is what's working. This is how I can work 20 hours a week, working part-time, making full-time income, because my efforts are more effective because I know what works. And I'm not greedy. So I'll just tell you. I'll tell you for free. You're smart enough to know if you need my help, okay? You are smart enough to know. So I am trusting your intellect to make the decision when it makes sense for you. And I'm just going to keep showing up for the people I got, okay? The next thing y'all doing wrong is your episodes currently exist in a vacuum and don't support your offer suite. You treat your podcast like it's this lighthouse that if I just put out content, it will guide people to my business. No, it won't. Unless you strategically create episodes that do that. Podcasts are an end game unless you create a bridge to your offers. Okay? What I mean by that, I can listen to a podcast while I'm driving to Sam's Club today and not feel compelled to open up a Chrome tab, to click in the show notes, to tell a friend. I'm just listening to a podcast. You know, I'm just listening to people talk. That's an interesting topic. That's an interesting perspective. Cool. Great. Move on with my life. But if you're leveraging podcasting as a way to grow your business, do you actually talk about what you sell? Do you allow your offers to be your ads? Or do you just create content? Do you even talk about your business in your intro to your podcast? Hi, I'm LaShonda Brown, founder of Bootstrap Biz Advice, where I help service providers to work less and live more by leveraging tech and YouTube. Burnout is real, but it doesn't have to be a reality if you allow me to help you. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to work 60 plus hours a week and have your bank account be at almost zero every single month. This is what I've done. This is how I change things. This is how I reclaimed my time and got the freedom I was after, the time freedom, the location freedom. This is what I practically did. I eliminated what I didn't need to do. I delegated what I could to my team and I automated the rest. I'll teach you. Here's how you can pay me. Do you even bring it up? Do you even talk about how people can pay you? Instead, what I see a lot of podcasters do is they give very good content. They might talk about a lead magnet, but they never give the audience the means to go from listener to customer. They just want to get an episode out. They batch their content 3 months ahead of time. So by the time the episode comes out, it's maybe not even relevant to what they're currently selling. And it's just content. We don't have a content shortage. We have AI. We can create content in our sleep. We don't even need to be fully conscious at this point to just create content. You don't need content. You need bridges. You need to turn tech into your sales staff to drive leads that can convert without people talking to you. You have to realize your content isn't going to help if it's existing in a vacuum. You have to tell people what you do. You have to tell people what you've done for your customers. As a tech educator, I helped the Iowa Farm Bureau educate young farmers about how to leverage Canva to market their generational farm so farms didn't die by the time it got to the third generation, but actually began to thrive by leveraging digital marketing in a way that the founders never did, in a way that grandpa never did and daddy didn't know. Now this son can go forth and thrive by leveraging tech. You got to tell people. Even if the content is about 3 ways to reclaim your time, do you have an offer that can help people reclaim their time? Your episodes should always be based on what you sell. Not just get on my list, not just leave a review, not just share it with your friends. What are you selling? Is your content relevant to that? Because some people, after hearing your perspective and hearing the way that you address things, may go, I just want her help. How do I pay her? What's her email? What's her website? What, I don't even know if I can afford her. Where do I go to look? Are people searching for that? Or are you guiding them to that? Because if you ask your audience, your podcast audience, to search for a way to buy from you, they're going to get distracted and just go back to their life. Because they're listening to the podcast while they're doing their laundry, while they're running their errands, while they're cooking their dinner. Are you even verbally telling them, because they don't have a pen and paper to write with, how they can buy from you with simple calls to action? Or is it a freaking wild goose chase? You have to think about every single time that I create content for any platform, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify, whatever, you have to say to yourself, this content is meant to guide people to my offers. So you got to do a better job of communicating what those offers are. I'm not obligated to say this. I literally received the opposite advice, but just decided to take another approach over the weekend. This gave me why I felt it wasn't the best way for me. Love that. Now I'm getting the blueprint today for the rest. This is exactly what I've been sensing and wanting direction on bridges. Because, like you said, most don't have bridges or conversions. So good. So good. So, again, plan your content calendar for your podcast around your offers. And I saw a friend do this recently that was so brilliant. She brought on one of her customers as the guest. She leveraged her podcast to amplify a success story and talked through what she did for them as part of her launch strategy for her program. Okay. So that's a great way to do this. Can you bring on a past customer to talk about what you offer? Very simple strategy for you to make sure that the content that you create is actually driving traffic to your offer suite. Okay, the next thing I'm seeing you guys do is when you upload your episodes, you are not thinking about, is my community even on YouTube right now? And this may seem nitpicky, but guys, I see some podcast hosts, they'll wait to the end of the month and they'll upload 4 things on YouTube from the last month. And they're just, okay, it just needs to be on the channel. I just need to put it on the channel. I get my VA to do it. I just need to upload the videos to the channel. And you're not thinking about how YouTube works. YouTube is not just a video hosting platform, it's a search engine. It has its own algorithm that determines within the first 24 hours, is this content that should be amplified to a greater audience. So when you just info dump, you upload all this content at one time, not even thinking about, is this content being posted when my audience is on YouTube? The content doesn't perform because no one's there to see it. Okay. And so you can easily go into the back end of your YouTube channel and you can look at the data and say, my current subscribers typically watch my content at 6 p.m. So stop uploading your episodes at 6 a.m. because it's convenient for you. Understand how YouTube works and give your content the opportunity to actually get the love it deserves. Okay. That's how YouTube works. Within the first 24 hours, YouTube decides whether more people should see it. And so if you upload multiple pieces of content on the same day and then you ghost your channel for weeks, you're not training the algorithm to know the cadence that it should expect. So if you do episodes every week, then upload your episodes weekly when your audience is on your YouTube channel. Don't try to batch that and then hurt the reach of your content. Okay. Next thing is you're not filming in an environment that's meant to be seen, not just sound treated. Okay. So, what I mean by that is for most podcasters, you're going to use a professional microphone, much like I'm using right now. And so, a lot of podcast people, they love podcasts because in the past, it's given them the opportunity to deliver value without being seen. They don't have to worry about putting makeup on, they don't have to worry about what they're wearing. And that's great. I understand that. That has its place. But if you're going to upload your podcast episode, the video of you recording what people audibly hear on Spotify, what does your environment look like? Are you thinking about not just your sound, but your lighting? Is your environment cluttered? Is there any branding? Is the background even memorable or relevant to what you're trying to communicate? So, for instance, in my environment, this is my actual office. If you were to go on my YouTube channel and you were to look at my Canva tutorials for 12 days of Canva, you will see me standing in front of a desk. That is the opposite view of what you're looking at right now. So I have my teleprompter here. I have my actual computer screen here that I work at every day. Okay. I clear my desktop when I'm filming. I literally tidy up my desk and I stand in front of it when I am recording sponsored content or a pre-recorded tutorial for the channel. But I'm very cognizant of what you can see in regards to my video feed. My walking pad is literally right there. My office is not that big. Okay. This is like a wide angle lens. My walking pad is right there. I have like a fake palm tree right here and a lamp. I've got lighting here, lighting behind me. Okay. But what you also see behind me, if you really decide to look, is on this side. Yes. On this side, one word, blessed. That one word says so much without me ever audibly saying anything. I love Jesus. God is blessing my business. And so for me, I feel blessed. I feel truly blessed to be able to serve. I feel truly blessed to be able to leverage YouTube to grow my business without having to shuck and jive at networking events or expos. I can just sit at my desk and yap. If I really wanted to, I could be yapping in socks and yoga pants as long as my top and my makeup are all right. I feel blessed. I have scripture around me. I have artwork like this right here is a watercolor drawing my friend did of lyrics to one of my favorite worship songs, Yet Not I, But Christ in Me. Like this was given to me. This over here is Naomi Paper Co. That's Hobby Lobby. But my environment is meaningful to me. My mail station, I love sending people physical mail. All of these contain cards by small business owners. I buy cards online, I buy cards at the farmer's market. And when someone has something happen in their life, whether it's a great thing or a bad thing, I will try to send them a card. And okay, over here, I have my address book of my clients, mailing addresses, family members, friends, all that stuff, and stickers that I buy from different creators. So my environment isn't just a hokey background. It shows what I value. I even have a YouTube video, which I'll link after this is over, that gives you a tour of my literal office. And so when people decide they want to venture into a video podcast and they just go, oh, I'll just turn my camera on. Now it's video. Instead of thinking, well, what does your environment say about you? What does your environment say about your show? The successful podcast people, Omar Takori is a great one. He used to work for Think Media. I'm sure you've seen him on Think Media, Sean Cannell's company. He loves crispy video. He is obsessed with video quality. And so when he shows up, the environment may change, but the quality of that video feed is like chef's kiss in 4K. That's what he loves. But when you think about like the gamers on YouTube, they love colored lighting. They love neon signs with the name of their channel and all these different things because they understand that that environment says so much about who they are and what they value. But people from the podcast world are so used to being hidden that they don't even think about what's behind their head. And so they upload these videos that look like they shot them in a cave. And it's like, why would I watch that? Why? Even if what you're verbally saying is useful, it is not visually appealing. So you have to think about, if you decide to go this route, you're now playing the YouTube game. You're not just playing the podcast game. And so you need to put some effort, even if it's Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree, Walmart. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it has to be intentional because that's what YouTubers do. YouTubers are intentional about what you see because it is a visual platform. So you can't just say, oh, I'm just tapping in to the YouTube community and don't play the YouTube game. It doesn't have to be expensive, but you do have to think it through. And so that's a mistake I see people making. You don't have a clear goal as to why the video is even needed, and you're just posting because you feel like you have to. You're paying for a podcast producer and they said, hey, you need to do video. And you're like, all right, whatever. And you record it in Zoom and you're like, all right, there's your video. But you don't have a goal. Why is it necessary for you to start adding video to your strategy? Is it that before you were constrained by the audio and whenever you needed to explain something, you just had to verbally explain it and say, well, imagine if but on video, you could just show them. On video, you could share your screen. On video, you could throw up graphics or what have you. Why do you need visuals now? Not just, oh, people said I should do it. People say I should post my videos on YouTube. Okay. Why is that video component necessary now? And I would venture to say that the visual nature of YouTube should compel you to do more complicated content, not just complicated in production value, but more intricate in how you explain it. What I mean by that is, yeah, I could extract the audio from this and upload it to Spotify, but at a certain point, I think I may even want to share my screen and show you specific tools that I think you should be using. And so what's great about having Streamyard open is I can just open up a tab, share it, boom, there you go. I don't have to post the links in the show notes and expect you to go to it afterward. I can literally in real time give you what you need. So that is the value of me doing video versus just audio. It's less of a wild goose chase and more of an immediate payoff. So if you decide I want to turn the camera on while I'm recording my episodes and all you do is sit and yap, it doesn't need to be a video at that point. Why do I need to see you? You're just talking. But if you say, okay, well, now that I've got video, I can share a Canva whiteboard and I can illustrate some of these concepts. Or now that I've got video, I can create slides in a Canva presentation and I can speak over the slides. Or now that I have video, I can screen share and show my Instagram posts and show my LinkedIn content. So I can show practical examples. Before I could only talk about it, but now they can see it. And it's going to increase outcomes of people consuming this content because they will be able to visualize what I'm referring to. So don't just post video because somebody says you should be on YouTube. You're posting content on YouTube to leverage a visual medium. I want people to feel closer to me. I want to leverage video so I can have a face-to-face interaction at scale. I'm leveraging video for ... Why? Why do you need to add on more work? And why should never be because somebody said I should. It's your life. It's your channel. It is your business. Why you? Why YouTube? Why now? Question your decisions. Hive mind is not a marketing strategy. Everybody's doing it. It's not a marketing strategy. Why you? Why YouTube? Why now? Once you get clear about that, it will change the way you show up, which ultimately is going to make it easier for your content to drive sales. So that intention means everything. And the last thing I want to say before I get into the techie side of things is you are not leveraging tech tools to increase your reach. You are just saying, I'm going to be on YouTube. And you post it and you wait. And that's not what YouTube is about. YouTube is owned by Google. It is a tech company. You got to use tech to win at tech. That's the game. That's the game. The people that you love on YouTube are leveraging tech. Even if the tech is just good lighting or good audio or good editing equipment, they are leveraging tech to win on YouTube. So are you trying to low tech your approach to a high tech platform? This is the game. Understand the game that you signed up to play. Okay? You would not go to a soccer game in just tennis shoes. You got to have your cleats on. Okay? That's the reality. You have to show up with the equipment and the tools that you need if you're going to play in the tech space. Okay? Now, the great part about that is that's what I do for a living. I literally live in this universe every single day. I am always trying tech tools out. I'm constantly evolving my perspectives on what we should be using and how we should be leveraging it. So I'm going to give you a cheat sheet literally right now. And all I'm going to ask you to do, whether you are watching this live or you're watching in the replay, is for you to like this content if you actually like it. If you don't like it, Please don't do that, because I base my content on the content that's getting engagement. If I get engagement, like right now, I see I have a really large live audience. So if I'm getting the engagement on this content, I'm going to say, I must have a lot of podcast hosts who watch me. Maybe I should give them some more tutorials, some more supplemental resources. But if you don't like this topic, if you don't freaking care, don't engage. You vote with your engagement. You vote with your thumbs up. You vote with your likes. This is what goes into how I frame my offers and how I show up online. So all I ask is that if everything that I said or something I said so far was useful, just give me a thumbs up. Because typically what happens on my live streams is when I really get going, when I really like start standing on business 10 toes down, y'all don't talk back. Y'all don't comment. Y'all don't say nothing because you're locked in and you're listening. And that's great. But I still need engagement to know if I should keep going in this direction. And so that's where the thumbs up come into play. So that being said, email. You have to market your YouTube episodes. You have to leverage email because it reduces friction. See, people see the video embed in your Flowdesk email and boom, they go straight to YouTube. When you market your podcast, if you are also uploading them to YouTube, market the YouTube as the number one place to listen and watch, not an option. Number one. Why? A lot of people who just want audio, they will go to Spotify of their own accord. They will go to Apple Podcasts of their own accord, but they're not going to go to YouTube of their own accord. So drive traffic there first. In the first 24 hours that you post that content, post the video, send the email, same time. So that email for the next 24 hours is helping to grow your YouTube views enough that you can train the algorithm to say, ooh, this is good content. Let me push this out on the Explore page. Let me push this out through suggested videos, suggested channels, okay? So if you have a list that you use to market your podcast, the way people should consume the content, if you have a YouTube channel, should be YouTube first. You can leverage an SEO tool like TubeBuddy to optimize your episodes for search. Do not rely on just the guest name as a way to drive traffic to your episodes. Because guess what? Going back to the Amy Porterfield thing, you having Amy Porterfield as a guest on your podcast might be cool for street cred, but nobody is searching in YouTube for Amy Porterfield. They're searching for how to grow with a digital course, how to make a digital course, or whatever, right? So you need to optimize your podcast episodes, not based on who your guest was, based on the topic covered that someone might actually type into a YouTube search, because they can visually see who the guest is from your thumbnail. So you don't need your title and your thumbnail to say the same thing, okay? So feel free to put the headshot of your guest on the thumbnail, but the title is reserved for helping to optimize for search. What is the takeaway from your episode? Or what is a clickbaity way that you can share a soundbite from the episode? That should be your title, not just who the guest was. Leverage tools like OpusClip to take that YouTube podcast episode and create shorts. In YouTube Shorts, you can use the related video function. So as people are watching a YouTube short, they can tap on the YouTube short and it will send them to a YouTube long form piece of content. Utilizing shorts to drive traffic to your long form is a growth hack that most people never use, okay? And so if you don't want to pay for an editor to make those shorts, all you got to do is use OpusClip, and AI will pull out clips. Riverside does this as well with a thing called Magic Clips. So if you record in Riverside, you can use Magic Clips. But the point is, your shorts need to drive traffic to your long form content. But your shorts need to stand on their own, not just be in this episode. Blah, 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 blah. Pull out sound bites. What's something meaningful that you said or your guest said? Your shorts should be their own cohesive thought, so that if people want to hear more thoughts, then they're going to listen to the full episode. You can also upload longer clips from the long form. The full episode can be an upload, but I'm sure there's at least 2 to 3 more moments that could stand on their own. So stop thinking about it just from the utility of I filmed the episode, I put the episode on YouTube. You have to market the episode as well. Riverside, Streamyard, and BigVu are all tech tools that have teleprompter functions. Use a teleprompter to limit your rants and getting lost in your thoughts. I have a background in theater. I create an obscene amount of video content. I'm doing all of this with no notes, but I am not the norm. In order for you to truly thrive on YouTube, you need to be concise. So if you need to cheat it and put bullet points on a teleprompter so you can make sure you hit the high points instead of just trying to rack your brain for what am I trying to cover, then do that. If you literally want to write word for word what you're going to say so you can just say it with conviction and not have to think and talk at the same time, do that. But teleprompters are a huge hack for content creation that more podcasters don't use. And the last one, of course, is Canva, but I want you to create your thumbnails to increase click-throughs on YouTube and not just be functional for sharing headshots, okay? And so I see this all the time where people are like, okay, I'm going to put some headshots in a Canva template and I'm going to make a thumbnail for my episode. And it's the same template for every episode. The only thing that changes is who the guest is. And I'm like, guys, that might work for podcasts on Spotify, but on YouTube, we actually appreciate a little visual interest, okay? When you put your episodes up on YouTube, now again, you're playing the YouTube game. Those episodes are living in the midst of content creators for YouTube. So your thumbnails need to be appealing. Your thumbnails need to make people stop the scroll and then progress through to see what you have to say. And so if your thumbnails are just, functional, you got the headshot, woohoo, and it's just the same template over and over and over again. Well, that's boring. And that doesn't stand out. And so the reality is, I know you don't have a ton of time. So I have a landing page on my website, lashondabrown.com/tools, where I have affiliate links for all the tools I talked about. And if I've negotiated a discount with them, the discount is on the tools page. And so I am always, as a tech educator, going to point you back to leveraging tech to get the outcomes that you want, because big tech has made big features more accessible through subscriptions. And they call it, SaaS products or subscriptions as a service. And so before you had to own all this software and now nobody owns anything, you basically rent it by paying a monthly or annual fee. And so that is the world I live in. As a tech educator, I'm constantly ear to the ground, hearing what's new, what are people using, what's working. And I come back here and I report on my findings. Independently, I'm not working for any of these tech companies directly, even Canva. I have a partnership with them, but I'm not a Canva employee. So if Canva goes sideways, I'm out. Okay. And so the reality is, if you need somebody who is going to say, look, not only do I understand tech, but I understand business, and I want to respect your budget while you're bootstrapping, that's why you subscribe to my channel. That's why you stick with me. That's why you become a member, because that's what I'm all about. And so I do these YouTube lives as a way to serve my members, but also to express my thought leadership. So you don't just know what I do, you know why I do it and how I address it. Okay. I am very passionate about technology because I know what it feels like to be so overworked that you literally can't even think straight. Self-care is not even something you can wrap your mind around because you're too exhausted to even get to the massage, to get your hair done, to get the nails done. I know that life, but that's not the life I live now. And so I feel compelled and responsible to look back and to help people who are not where I'm at, but also to be a student So that's why I'm flying my butt to Austin this month. I'm not being paid to go to New Media Summit, but I'm going to New Media Summit to learn from people like Cody Sanchez in person to say, what is working? What are y'all actually doing? I know what you're putting on Instagram and that's cute and everything, but no, for real, what are you doing? Because I have people back in Virginia who are struggling and we're sick of throwing our money at the problem. We want to know what's working and we want you to be honest about it. And so being in those rooms where I can continue learning and then bringing you back that relevant information is why people pay me, why the tech companies pay me, why entrepreneurs pay me, because other people aren't willing to do the work. They know their thing. And even if their thing is no longer relevant, they're going to keep pushing it until people stop paying. That's not why I'm here. Okay. And so as a podcaster on YouTube, your point of view is the money. You being willing to stand 10 toes down on what you believe, why you do what you do, why someone else's perspective is wrong or just off the mark or whatever. That's the stuff that gets shared. That's the stuff that gets people engaging. Real talk, not the fluff, not the long intros, not the prim, polished, perfect. YouTube thrives on authenticity. No edits, no frills, no thrills. This is me on a Monday morning. This is me. And so I wanted to be honest about this because I see y'all. I'm like, why am I the first comment to everybody's podcast episodes on YouTube? Because I'm a YouTuber. I mean, big companies. Truth be told, there were some Honeybook episodes that came out way back when Akua and Natalie were hosting, where I was the first comment. A company making millions of dollars, and I'm the first comment on your podcast? Because you got to know how to play the game. So I want you to win with podcasting. I do think it's a very effective way for you to communicate, but only if you know how to play the game. So if you're trying to make money with the podcast, you need to be in the workshop tomorrow because that's the whole point. Alan gets paid to produce podcasts. He also hosts his own. So this is not theoretical. This is what is actively keeping him employed. And so I'm going to pull out of him all of this information to help you to thrive, but it's your job, if this is relevant to what you're trying to do, to pay the $10 and get in the room. It's $10, guys. How much money have you thrown at your business that never came back home with more money? That's between you and the Lord. But I know I've wasted some money already this year. And I hate to say it because I was trying to support the people, but it happens every day. Every day we take a risk. We spend and we hope that it's going to help us grow. I know for a fact tomorrow we'll do that because we have taken the time to cultivate curriculum that is going to address real problems that real podcasters have. So with that being said, y'all, that is all I got to share for today. And I feel great because I didn't want to rely on screen shares to communicate my thoughts. I was like, let's just see if I can just sit and yap and teach. No slides, no shares, just me. If you liked it, make sure you like this. If you didn't like it, don't tell me. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I listened to a lot of you on the year-end calls and you said, girl, I work 9 to 5. Can we do some stuff at night? So I will be taking a nap midday tomorrow so that I can be fresh as a daisy at 6 p.m. for y'all. So I hope you do come back and enjoy what we have prepared for you. But honestly, truthfully, I'm thrilled to see the intentional steps I've been taking over the last few months, especially the last year, and how it has resulted in a whole different atmosphere for my business, for the membership, and for the brands that I work with. And so I want you guys to benefit from it. I don't want you throwing money at having someone professionally produce your podcast and it's not making money. It's not even covering its costs. You're going in the hole with these episodes. And it's like, I'm putting all this time in. I'm organizing all these guests and all this. Why isn't this working? Well, that's why. I gave you what? 5 tips, 5 tech tools. So like I said, we're going to go back this afternoon and we'll add those time codes. I'll add some video links to things that I audibly refer to so that you can click and watch. I got one more live stream coming at you this month. Next week, we're going to talk about reviving dead YouTube channels because there's so many of you who are like, fine, I'll come back. I've had a YouTube channel since 2010. I don't post to it, but I want to keep the handle. So help. I hear it all the time. I've heard it probably 3 times in the last week. So for those of you who claimed your handle on YouTube and you made a YouTube channel and you ain't posted since Obama was in office, I got something to say to y'all too. And I'm going to say it with kindness and grace and love. But again, we don't have a content shortage. You just posting isn't the look. You need to have strategy behind it. You need systems that can stand under the weight of your real life. And you got to remember you have to sell, or else you're going to have to get a real job working for somebody else. That's just the reality. It always comes back to strategy, systems, sales. And if that's not how you think, that's how I think. And you should be a member so I can help you. So to all my members who are watching this live, I see Lolita, Adrienne, Darlene, Chanel. Who else is on here? I think I saw, Trisha, Ayana. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me because it means that we get to rise together. We get to co-create together, and then we all get to win. You don't just become envious of the life I've got. You start loving the life that you have. And that's what it's all about. So I hope this is giving you something to think about. We've got our workshop tomorrow. We've got a work with me session on Friday. I'm going to be raring to go on Friday to make sure that you guys get stuff done, because believe it or not, that's going to be our last work with me session for the month because I've got 2 weeks of travel. So I'm for real, guys. The goal for Bootstrap creators in February is to grow your YouTube channel. Every single day, I'm sharing a YouTube growth strategy. Go to that Canva project. Look at those strategies. Find one that you think you can try and bring it to the Work With Me session. If you have questions, ask me while you have me as a captive audience. Nobody's doing this crap. I don't know why. I think it's so simple to just make yourself accessible, but so many people leading these memberships don't lead. They just collect. They collect your payment. They collect your information, and they're not leading you down the path that's going to help you to grow. So I'm trying to do that, guys, but you got to show up. You got to lock in. So again, workshop tomorrow, Work With Me session on Friday. And then we got one more live stream next Monday about reviving dead YouTube channels. So you can look underneath this video. I've got like a little playlist. It looks like this, where's my finger? There we go, over here. And that just shows you the live streams that we have scheduled for the month. And then at the beginning of March, I'll make a whole new playlist. So that playlist is really functioning more as like a calendar. So I don't have to pay for a calendar tool. You can always come to the channel and you can see what do I have planned for you. So again, we've got a workshop. We have our group coaching call. We had the interview with Antonio and the Work With Me sessions. So we stay busy, y'all. We stay busy. There's no shortage of things to learn and things to do. But I really like it here. It is so fun. It is so fun. We had dance breaks as part of our boot camp last month. So we did the cha-cha slide, the electric slide, and boots on the ground. It's like, I want to make the environment of learning so fun that you just lock in because it's fun to watch and listen, even if you're not in a place to implement yet. And I just don't think enough educators put effort into the instructional design or cultivating a culture that people want to belong in. And so instead of me complaining about what other people are not doing, I'm trying to be that change that I want to see in the world. So That being said, I've got to get ready to meet with Angela and then meet with Brett later today because today is my CEO day. So I theme my days so that I don't have to change gears all the time. Today is the CEO day. Cast a vision. Make sure the team knows what's going on. And then tomorrow, I start to lock in and have my meetings. So I'm glad you're here. I'm grateful for all of you, whether you are members or viewers. Remember to like this live stream if you liked it. And until next time, ta-ta for now.